Hi, I'm Zach Kazan, managing editor at Worn & Wound, and today we're talking to the team about their favorite watches seen in movies and television shows. My personal favorite of late is definitely the Konstantin Chaikin Joker seen in The Fall of the House of Usher by Mike Flanagan, his recent Netflix miniseries. This was a really surprising watch selection, but it makes a lot of sense for the character of Leo Usher. Incredibly distinctive. I clocked it right away. It was just such a nice surprise to see this very notable independent watch on the wrist of a character in a really prestige level miniseries that's seen by, I'm sure, millions and millions of people on Netflix in this age of, product placement where you see watches from big brands on, lots of movies and television shows. But there was something refreshing about seeing this indie, Konstantin Chaikin, with his iconic Joker watch on a character in this Netflix series. And it made a lot of sense in the context of the show. I won't give any spoilers, but it suffices to say it's an inspired choice, I think, for Leo Usher in this particular situation. So yeah, the Konstantin Chaikin Joker on Leo Usher and Fall of the House of Usher is my pick.
So my favorite watch from a movie is the Hamilton Ventura from Men in Black. I watched that movie way too many times as a kid, and I suppose that's where my obsession with watches and gadgets and cool things came from. But loved the watch from the movie, obsessed over it for years, and I think really is what started my watch obsession at a very early age.
So the watch I chose in terms of a watch, big watch, important watch for me out of a movie has to be the Alsta Notaskov Super Automatic. For those who know, that's the watch that Matthew Hooper, Richard Dreyfuss, wears in the movie Jaws. He wears it throughout the whole movie, but he goes through all these outfit changes, and you could just see this as a watch that was meant to be worn all the time. And I just found it so cool that he's kind of like the intellect. He's the guy who comes in and is telling everyone, here's the situation, you guys have to be careful. I also appreciate the fact that he survives throughout the whole movie. He hides at the end, but still, hey, survival skills. But it's such a cool watch, and to just see that on the wrist throughout the whole movie, it really kind of got me, I wouldn't say it got me into watches, but it just increased my respect for watches as a whole.
Hi, I'm here to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time, Alien. And I know that Ripley's watch gets a lot of love in the second movie, but in the first one, she wears this absolute weird abomination of a watch that the prop department actually made out of two Casio F100s. Now, this is a watch that doesn't exist anymore, and now we only have a steel reissue of it. But what I would like to do someday is to take two of those watches and make a weekend project out of it for myself and try to recreate Ripley's watch in the first Alien.
The little hand says it's time to rock and roll. Ronald Reagan jumps into the bank, bursts open the door, freeze everybody on the ground. The watch is the Breitling Navitimer 3100 Quartz Pluton, and the movie is Point Break. That is my favorite watch in one of my favorite films. I go back, I watch it all the time. It is just a lot of fun. There's action around every corner. Bodhi, of course, is rocking that watch every time he goes to rob a bank. Now, he's not wearing it in most of the movie because he doesn't care about the time. He's out there surfing, he's jumping out of airplanes, he's riding motorcycles. He does not need to know what time it is, but when he puts that watch on, he means business. He needs to make sure that he has military precision. He has to get out of there before the cops come, and that Pluton is the perfect watch for the job. And he's also making a bit of extra cash, so a Breitling, it just makes sense.
Hi everybody. My favorite watch in a movie has to be the Hamilton Murph. We all knew it was coming. I really like the Murph because it not only serves as a plot device, which I feel like a lot of watches in movies kind of take on that role. We actually see the watch being used to highlight the development of Murph, the character, throughout the entirety of the movie. So at the beginning of the movie, we see her throw the watch across the room when she's not ready to accept the mission that her father's undertaking. And then later on in the movie, when she's an adult, we see her actually retrieving the watch, putting it on her wrist, and then obviously it, becomes a symbol of a father and daughter's connection through space and time. But I think Interstellar does a fantastic job of using the watch, not just as a prop, but really as a storytelling device, and I think that's super cool.
All right, my favorite watch from a movie is unsurprisingly a Seiko, and that is the Seiko 6105 Captain Willard. I actually just saw like a new 4K cut of Apocalypse Now a couple weekends ago at the Film Forum in New York City, and I mean, that movie is absolutely mind-blowing. And second scene in the movie of Captain Willard, played by Martin Sheen, just absolutely freaking out in a hotel room. He eventually strips all his clothes off, cuts open his hand, and he's just wailing in, you know, psychosis. But he still has the 6105 on, and it's actually really noticeable, and it's like a really, really cool looking watch. Also, just the fact that it's like part of this absolutely iconic movie makes it stand out, and yeah, that's my favorite watch in a movie.
My favorite watch from a movie is the Vostok Amphibia from Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I'm actually wearing mine today. It's model number 402526. What I love about this watch is it's a perfect watch casting for a kind of a bargain bin version of Jacques Cousteau. That's what Steve Zissou is. He's not wearing a Rolex, he's not wearing an Omega or a Doxa, he's wearing a Vostok. And what's really cool about this watch is it just gives me all the memories from that movie. I love to wear it. And coincidentally today, I accidentally wore my accidentally Wes Anderson hat, totally by coincidence, so kind of fun.